All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Thursday. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what day of the week it has been for the last little bit, but happy Thursday. Hope you're all feeling sharp, feeling refreshed, recharged, and ready after honestly what was a pretty quiet and slow trading day for us. Not really any interesting price action kind of in that first 3 hours, right, of the day. You got a really aggressive breakout there over lunch and then a really aggressive breakout there inside power hour. So just kind of one of those things, right, where markets gave us a move that we weren't really like in play for, right, at any given time. And that's going to happen a ton. The reality about being a trader is I'm going to miss pretty much like 99% of movements in the market, right? Like it honestly doesn't matter. All I need to do is basically just focus in on like the one or two or three patterns that I know well, can execute well, and that's all I need, right? So this idea of FOMO chasing things doesn't exist here this morning, and just wanted to make sure, right? We want to just to stress those elements and to just understand, right, that being deliberate and improving, right, and forcing yourself to refine your technique and your process kind of like frees you up, right? So that's sort of where it comes from. But yeah, off topic, I guess, a little bit here this morning. So first things first, economic calendar here, a little bit busier, right? Today we're gonna have PMI at 9:45, and then yeah, a bunch of other stuff will drop at like 10. So would expect today to be like a little bit of a slower start to the session. Um, like in the last, I mean, yesterday we had the paper trade, right? We got in that pretty early, the test. I think that would not be in play here today, right? Even if the scenario did set up like PMI at 9:45, a little bit of an outlier event. It's kind of been a slow economic calendar week. We could be waiting for that. Maybe the market will have settled from like some of the big earnings names yesterday. Like we'll talk about Tesla and Google in a little bit. So maybe that gives it a little bit of time to shake out weak participants, give us a little bit of structure, and then break out with a news catalyst at 9:45. So that might be the path of least resistance here this morning. And historically, I just don't like taking trades when I have a shot clock, right? So if I have to be set up 3 minutes, right? Confirmation 3 minutes. Pullback takes, let's say 2 minutes, and all of a sudden I've got 5 minutes where this trade has to give me its entire move. Otherwise, I need to get out, right, to protect myself. So it doesn't give me enough time. All right. So yeah, PMI here, right? That's gonna be the big one. And yeah, well, let's start mapping out from there. So first things first here. Good morning, everybody. It's a little bit different this time. And yeah, let's fire away. So ES here, right? Green candle, increasing outlier volume, right? Holding at all-time highs. Like there should be no fear here. Now, the element I guess that we probably want to be a little bit aware of, or yeah, I think aware of is probably the right thing. This was the last time, right? Last breakout through all-time highs. A little bit weaker, right, than what we had here to yesterday. But then it led to basically just like choppy, indecisive, bouncy, grind your teeth, lose your mind type price action. And I would like to avoid that, right, at all costs. Now, the reality here maybe is that this one is a little bit of a different scenario, right? It's a stronger looking breakout, it's a stronger looking volume profile, and it's occurring outside or after consolidation. Not to say that the market isn't cruel, because it absolutely can be, but it would be cruel, I think, for us to go 3 days of consolidation, 1 day of movement that happens in three candles, and then back to 3 days of consolidation. Yeah, like I want everything but that path pretty much here today, right? That being said, we're at all-time highs. We've broken out all-time highs on volume. I should have a very limited reason here to be bearish, right? Like I've got a volume support. We're breaking out through all-time highs. We're holding that area as support, and we're not really even testing those lows, right? Or testing that 380 area pre-market. So a little bit of like we'll talk about NQ in a second, but it's like a little bit of a shift, right? Yesterday NQ we had a little bit more of a bias in one direction, right? We were only willing to be bearish. On ES yesterday, right, we had a little bit of flexibility. Today, right, ES is dictating that we have that bias a little bit more strictly there to the upside, and NQ is going to be the ticker giving us that flexibility. A little bit of a role reversal here this morning. Our target to the upside here is going to be 64.10, which is approximately the pre-market high. And then because we are at all-time highs, I'm basically just mapping this thing out every 10 points. I think realistically, right, we're looking at approximately 1% of range. That would be the implied volatility. And we're even maybe a little bit less than that here today with a VIX reading of 15.07. So like an implied 1% move here would be like 60, 67. So I'll go, yeah, or 64, 67. So I'll go like to 64.70. And if we get that size move, I think we're all pretty happy here this morning. All right, NQ. So a little bit of a different story, right? Maybe looks more like consolidation. Couldn't quite break out over all-time highs. Make sure that there aren't any further ones here. So couldn't quite break out through all-time highs. Decreasing volume profile, right? Although it is still outlier, and then a relatively weaker, right, candle shape relative to ES. Now, again, we can explain away, I think, a lot of those variables here because we had earnings yesterday, right? So we had Tesla earnings, and Tesla's down, 5%. And then you had Google earnings, right, which is now gapping up. And so I think a little bit of that indecision is probably what we're seeing inside price action here to a certain extent. So yeah, let's see basically where that narrative can kind of show up here. But we're going to be calling this a green candle decreasing volume gap down, right? Red open. So it's been sellers overnight effectively. So we're going to call this a 1 for 3 here to the upside. And this does give us some flexibility here in both directions. Probably the path of or the most likely scenarios here today, right, are either the breakout trade to the upside. So a breakout through all-time highs and basically to play catch up to what ES is doing, or right, it's like that rejection fake out breakdown scenario where it's a fake out at all-time highs. We see bulls basically fail in their attempt to reclaim control, and then we get a very aggressive push down in similar type volatility like we saw for chunks of yesterday's session. So again, we're looking for that ATH breakout, and ideally we're looking for all of our other leading tech names to kind of become consistent, right, and allow us to have a high conviction narrative. So we're looking 23.5 kind of as our starting point. And then again, right, 1% of range, we're looking not much here today. 23.6, 23.8, maybe we could work our way into, but less implied range or harder for us to get that implied range move on NQ. So we're looking we're looking 23.5, 23.6. Okay. And then to the downside here, pre-market lows, we're looking basically ORB fake out, right, at all-time highs. And then 23.3, and then we've got it kind of mapped out, so we'll just fill in the gaps. If I were to say what level has probably been the most important here this week on NQ, it would be this 23,200, right? I feel like that's been in business a lot so far this week. So that might be a logical like stopping point, right? Which I, kind of effectively would be here-ish, right? So we've kind of seen price action find support off of that area quite a lot. Maybe wouldn't be too surprising to see that kind of be the reality here again today. All right, CL. I mean, this kind of looks like shit, to be honest with you guys. Sorry to curse this early. But the wicks suck. The range sucks. It's not getting out of its range, and the volume isn't looking particularly impressive. So 1 for 3 here to the downside. We do have flexibility in both directions, targeting 66.50. But I couldn't hide my disgust there. CL looks like the worst chart I've seen in a long time. Okay, and then to the downside here, we're looking 65. But yeah, it's going to have to do something pretty spectacular for me to want to trade it today, I think. All right, Apple, not quite an inside bar here, but still consolidating inside Monday's range. Red candle, technically increasing volume gap down. It's a 3 for 3 inside consolidation. Because again, right, like if it's trending price action should be able to break out from Monday's range. So it's kind of concerning that it hasn't. All right, Tesla. I mean, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. I mean, this is a classic Bollinger Band reversal setup here on Tesla. Microsoft, 2 out of 3, week 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. And we've invalidated it, right, with the size of the gap up. Turns out since Epstein has been proven innocent by the administration, Microsoft and Bill Gates are sitting pretty here. All right, Amazon, inside bar. NVIDIA, inside bar. A lot of consolidation there yesterday. Okay, AMD. Technically a gap up. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap up. So 2 out of 3 without volume. Took me a long time to see that one, actually. Meta, inside bar. Netflix, 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume, not changing. And then Google, I mean, it's going to be a red candle, increasing outlier volume, gap up. Let's call it huge earnings vol. All right, sweet. How's everyone feeling this morning? Good, team. Love to hear that. A little bit of a more reasonable opening woman range today. That 38, yeah. Still a bit big. Like yesterday, it was 40 points. But again, this would be the on that one min strategy, that just there, that 62 touch would have been your entry. Again, it's not refined for risk reward here yet or anything along those lines. Risk reward perspective, you would need a 376. I also don't think that this is a technique that uh rewards the aggressive entry technique. It would have to be the pullback or like a variant of the pullback. But again, I'm still missing a lot of information, so just in the process of working through some of those things. Like I mentioned in the pre-market, I'm not going to be interested in trading that here today regardless, just because we have that 945 data, and I'm a little bit skeptical that that's going to give me a particularly easy move. Or at least I don't have the expectation that I'm going to get the size move that I would expect over that in that time period, right? So 12 minutes here. I mean, theoretically could happen, but you're on the seat of your pants the whole time, or the edge of your seat. Well, I don't know what I was saying there. It always takes a little bit of time for it to kick in, so just a little bit of time. So far, so slow here. Again, kind of what we expected, right? We're expecting things to be a little bit snippy, I would say, while we wait for this 945 data. So we gotta be a little bit patient here. Oh, so yeah, so far so slow. And if we look at the shorter time frames, it's kind of done exactly what we said, right? We said it was going to shake out early participants. It's kind of seemingly what it's doing here now. And then maybe, right, we can get ourselves a clean narrative in 7 minutes or so. Again, like no movement yet, right? So I feel a little bit, well, I don't know if I have everything to talk about here yet. So I was still waiting for now, team. We got another few minutes until the hammer drops. Even crude. I think one of the maybe the challenging things, I guess, about trading summer conditions is that sometimes it really is like one day to press, one day to chill, one day to press, one day to chill. And like deciphering the difference between the two in the moment, easier said than done. Yeah, confidently say, guys, we have not missed out on anything. Oh, time feels like it's going in slow motion waiting for this data, too. Again, our implied entry price on this would have been 62, which it has not really separated away from, realistically. It does feel a little bit like deja vu to yesterday, too. Like everything in the morning was stuck for quite a long time, actually. Those are just CL mean reversion dings. Oh, this gave me a 15-minute one. Not a signal I'm super interested in. Yeah, that's 15 minutes of indecision there so far on NQ. Same thing on ES. So let's see. Nothing gave us a confirmation of any element, like of any reasonable standard here. First reward will have to be 76 or better. Okay, so let's see if ES can break out and give us a new high here. Didn't quite make a higher high, got stuck right at it. So let's see if we can get through. There it goes. Problem here, right, is going to be that volume profile. That's increasing, but that is so far from outlier at the moment. It's got a chance. Kind of a lot of volume has showed up there at the end. NQ, better volume if you can get up and over 400. Okay, so ES, great candle, fantastic close. Just not enough volume on that, right? Just not enough. NQ, didn't quite give me the breakout. So I'm going to be waiting these on the 5-min time frame. That maybe is giving me an opportunity. I mean, we should expect to get increasing volume here on the 5. Same thing here on ES. And then that seemingly appears to be that outlier standard. Yeah, probably on NQ2, the hurdle we'd like to clear is 400, right? Realistically, I think that would be a nice number to get up and over through. Otherwise, it makes me a little bit like, why can't it? Why isn't it? Probably would like to see just a little bit more cooperation from a Tesla as well. Smidge more. $408 to $410.50, so 2.5 up contract here. All right, so for now, we'd be looking at the pullback technique, right? I wouldn't be as enthusiastic about that, maybe. I think reference price on that would be like here-ish, 403.50. So that would be 3.5 points a contract. Actually, 3 points a contract, sorry. $150. It'd be like a 3 contract play. That's like a decent pullback to get. The aggressive might be a little bit more preferential, but it would be smaller position sizing. So I theoretically have like something that could be in play here, but I'm not super convinced I'm going to get that pullback to 403. Then this pullback, and like I said, we're looking at, okay, it's not that much of a difference from a stop loss perspective. But for now, it still has to be the pullback. If it I'm trying to sound like a lunatic, but if it pulls back too much here, right, then it's going to invalidate the aggressive because we're no longer going to be able to justify our risk reward ratio, right? So generally, I want my reference price using the aggressive technique to be the high of the confirmation candle. So in this context, like 410-ish. If say it pulls back to here, then I can't really use that 410 as my reference price or my entry target because it's outside of my risk reward ratio. So if I can't see previous highs act as support and they're kind of failing prior to my entry, right, on the aggressive technique, that's probably not a great sign. But I am potentially getting like pigeonholed a little bit here into the pullback, or at least based on the information we have at the moment. Not much is changing with the 10 min. Not really anything changing there. Not, I don't know if this isn't as much as like not as much enthusiasm as I maybe would have expected here so far. Okay, so stop loss would be 475. An entry, right, would be under 403.50. So that's kind of what I have it set up for here right now. A little bit of a quick move into it. Like NQ just had its floor pulled. So I'm going to wait for this candle to close. We've got, 5 seconds here. I think the pullback was too quick. I think it was far too quick. I'd like to see it settle, basically. Like, I don't ever want to feel like my entry is trying to catch a falling knife. Now, that one for sure would have felt like it was trying to catch a falling knife. Kind of like it's bouncy, but it's bouncy in a small range. I kind of feel like a low is coming. Like I don't think that this is going to be worth an entry. I have a feeling it's going to be a fake out at 400 or like a move to 400 first before it settles. I don't think I can shake that feeling. Where like post one sec, Deb. Post post reaction here, post confirmation has just not been enthusiastic enough here yet. So I would need to see it tighten up a little bit or maybe different time frame or something, but it doesn't feel right at the moment. So yeah, gold breaking out here. That looks reasonable. Yeah, I don't know what the correlation between gold and NQ is. Give me a second. Okay, so it's not a super. I mean, this is not like a perfect correlate, like a perfect statistic here, Deb. But let's say based on the last 20 years, approximately of market data, correlation between ES and NQ kind of hovers between 0.9 to 0.97. So very, very positive, strong correlation. ES to CL, it's like a moderatively positive correlation. So depends on some seasonality, but like a minus 0.3 to a 0.5. ES to gold is a moderate inverse correlation. So negative 0.2 to negative 0.4. And Q to gold is a moderate inversion. About 30% of the time that it makes a move higher, it moves lower. So as a blanket statement, I'm not sure if that would be enough for me as a sub trigger or as a blanket, but for sure a very reasonable setup thesis. Not enough volume there on the 10 min on CL. And like again, we have not missed out on anything here yet. Like indexes have not particularly moved. I don't really feel like we've missed out on anything here at the moment. Potentially, I mean, we need a much stronger confirmation here. Let's look it out for the next 30 for 40 seconds or so here. Yeah, it looked like it was like full body for a second and then it dropped like 3 cents. And then now it feels like my internet's not working. And Q could be breaking down and maybe better on the 5 min again. Ideally, we're seeing a crack through low of day. My microphone is working. It should be working. I think I was talking. Just refresh your discords. But yeah, I do seem to be having no issues on my end. Yeah, you become a premium DTR member, Torque. Contact your DTR advisor. You can book a call in the link in the YouTube description. Yeah, so for sure, not a good enough confirmation there. Maybe it's going to set up as like a potential reversal scenario. NQ may be the more likely of the indexes to crack. It's kind of fugazi price action. I don't like the divergence between ES and NQ. I think that leads to more chop. I think CL's not giving us a clean look here. What is moving today? 15 VIX is disgusting too. Oh man. Yeah, I think that's a good point of confluence, Ajay, for sure. Like we kind of talked about on our confirmation here, we needed to crack through this, right? Through low a day. Because again, like you mentioned, we've seen it fake out here pretty much and just say, hey, I'm range bound. And again, like maybe we could have jumped in here. The ES, like maybe this would not have been a very fun trade, and not like we're leaving life-changing money on the table there. I don't know, almost seems like it's a morning that might reward like slightly longer term signals than shorter term signals. Maybe that's our hope for some consistency. Trying to reverse jinx ES into breaking out. Yeah, so TopStep X's charting platform doesn't have a 10 min, but we do all of our analysis on TradingView, right? When you're just executing trades, one price on one time frame is the exact same price on all time frames, right? So shouldn't necessarily be an issue. Like maybe CL as a reversal, but we're probably targeting low of day or low of day adjacent. Again, is like it's a very small move, right? Which complicates it because it's going to be really easy for this to get invalidated from just like a risk reward perspective. No volume on ES, but this does look a little bit like a cup and handle scenario, which would be very, very appealing. I love cup and handles. So our setup trigger, right, would then be an increasing, or setup would be a breakout through 410.25. Confirmation, right, would be that happening on increasing outlier volume and then holding that level. So I'd like to see that nightmare of consolidation end in the next, like, say, 90 seconds or so. Our probably best looking setup trigger here is this CL on this 10 min time frame. I'll keep an eye on ES to see if it gets over. But for now, I think CL is probably the most appealing. Like I mentioned, though, right? The issue with this is just where we're targeting. So we'd have to target low of day here. So we wouldn't be able to justify too deep of a pullback here using the aggressive entry technique. And then again, getting a pullback here using the pullback technique might be a little bit sketchy. So we'd like to see this thing really tighten up here towards the close, last 50 seconds or so, and just give us a scenario where we have a high probability of getting a reasonable enough risk reward. basically a close, 96 kills us, right? On the aggressive. Spoke that one into existence. So, I mean, candle shape like that isn't going to give us any enthusiasm to trade it. Things are definitely a bit more interesting here. Oh, that's mean. That was so close to being increasing. Yeah, a little bit. Getting the identifying the chop well, not making $1 off of it. So sounds just like Nostradamus gonna die broke. All right. So again, we're missing that just increasing volume here. We have a chance on this 3-min time frame. That would be appealing. Let's just get rid of this. So on the 5-min here, I see volume as 703 on that candle versus previous bar of 705. So it is close, but it's no cigar. So that's why I'm waiting for this on the 3 now. Got to close under that blue line, right? It's got to close under that blue line. That was close. All right. So for now, we can still look for the aggressive, which I think is the more likely potential entry. I would like to see that 35, right, act as our support. Reference price here would be 22. So you're looking at 13 points of contracts at like $260 worth of risk, approximately. So get a little bit of a pullback here. You could go 2 contracts. So stop loss, like I said, 35, 335. We now need to see a gentle pullback here. Gentle. I think the 5-min just closed as well, or is about to. So we'll have another opportunity on this as well if we don't get this thing to behave the right way. I don't think I'm going to get a pullback now into 322. It basically just ran without giving me the entry criteria I need. Fine. I feel pretty good about our read on ES. That was pretty good. CL not really behaving in any reasonable context. A little bit unlucky, I think, there with just that entry. A little bit unlucky. This 3-min might give us a look too. It would theoretically probably be the same stop loss, so it would really make a difference. Okay, we need a strong close here. Okay. Right on the cusp of normal body. So it'd have to look something like that. It would be a one contract trade. 342 would be the stop loss short. And reference price would be 325. And watching here. I mean, it's a good rejection again there, but it just didn't quite want to give me a pullback of the 2 points that I was needing. Can't really use the aggressive entry technique here because it would require a risk of 26 points. That's like just a smidge too much. Maybe this will give me like a little inside bar type scenario I could use. We're only 10 points away, which is still reasonable to maybe hit. And again, team, right? There's no FOMO here because it hasn't given me a chance to enter, right? So price action hasn't matched absolutely every single one of my execution rules. So I have no reason to have placed this trade. The only way I would have made money here is if I had broken a rule, and breaking a rule to make money is like the most dangerous trade you can possibly take. So maybe we'll have a chance here with this like little inside bar using the 3 min. Let's see. And again, we're kind of hoping for the aggressive entry technique. We can get a variant of it. So our max pullback here that we could stomach would be to like 317. Okay, now we're again back to looking at this 5 min, right, with the 342. And again, I'm going to wait to see the reaction here at this blue line. Let me be a little bit patient here. Kind of seems like it's eating up the volume, not getting stuffed by it. So being patient, no reason to click submit yet. Like it's going elevator up and then it's pulling back slowly, right? So the move higher is a lot faster than the move lower at the moment. For no reason. Good to hear that, Greg. Keeps us both safe, hopefully. Yeah, I think a pretty good decision here, team. Those 100%. I mean, it could still theoretically be in play, I guess. This is hard to trust, though. That's for sure. Ooh. Ooh. I think this is the more appealing scenario. We saw it bounce right off of 300. Little fake out under it. Good volume, second largest volume of the day. I'm interested in this 10-min reversal more than I am in the breakdown. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for now, we're still looking at the pullback technique. Pretty deep move here. I would prefer the aggressive, so I could do on the line. So I could do this. Like that is my reference price. So like 340 is my reference. Stop loss, say 28 by the looks of it. So like 12 points of risk, $240 a contract. That'd be a 2-contract trade. So stop loss, right? 328, 328. 2 contracts. Okay. So watching here, team, watching here. Okay, guys, I am in average price 335, 335, 2 contracts, stop loss 328. You close, don't do it. Okay, just got stopped. Yeah, let's potentially try this again. Looks like it might be a bit of a fake out. It was minus 360. Let's potentially try this again. Just looks like a freaking fake out for now. Maybe not. It almost feels like 328 should have been the entry. Like the stop loss price. All right, so we'll be looking at a 324 for now. Nope. Can't really go too much further. I mean, target doesn't need to be there. It could be 500. It's probably a little bit too aggressive, but it could be that sort of range. Kind of a stubborn move here. All right. Back in potential business. 321 stop. Okay, watching carefully here. Okay, guys, I am in 331.75. Stop loss 321. So 331.75 entry. Yeah, let's see if this thing can push. Yeah, let's even keep pushing here. Let's even keep pushing. So far, so reasonable. Yeah, so now we want to see a clean just breakout right through 340. We want to see a pop. Hmm. My gut's telling me to get out. Trying to figure that out a little bit here. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not Not super enthusiastic about this reaction here so far. Like if I'm thinking in my head what I think a strong trade would have behaved like here, I don't know if this is necessarily it. Let's see if we can get that pop through 340. I always hate the feeling of it making a move, retesting my entry price, and then climbing. Like if it's strong, it should kind of just push right away. See if we can get through that 340. That 340, very much a point of resistance here. What I feel, and I feel this, I don't feel like I'm in an easy trade right now. That's probably the thing that's bothering me the most, is it doesn't feel like I'm in an easy trade. Okay, so we can get a couple more points here. Hold that 340. Again, I want an aggressive separation away from that price. Not getting it. I'm now getting an aggressive pullback. So the feeling I think my gut is telling me is that I'm neither wrong or right. It's kind of telling me that like my fear is I think I'm stuck. And I just feel stuck in this range, like 3 or 4 points higher, 3 or 4 points lower. It's kind of a shitty spot to be, truth be told. Don't like the general lack of enthusiasm at 40. I felt kind of crap. Again, kind of a crappy reaction to it again. All right, guys, I've closed this trade. I've closed it at 333.50. I don't like how this is behaving. So, yeah, I don't want to feel stuck. I felt stuck. My gut was telling me I was stuck. I don't want to feel stuck. I'm cutting this, not going down with the ship. Again, maybe I could have gone on an exit a little bit higher, whatever. But this is not a super positive reaction. Now, if it wants to set back up, we can always try again, right? Stop loss 328 or something like that, right? And then reference price, but it isn't behaving well. Nice work, Todd. All right, that's a little bit better. Of course, now it breaks out. You know, that's kind of what we've been seeing. So fine, happy to wait this still. Again, we have a potential here, 329 now, 329. Oh, of course. Let's go, Mike. Nice work. It's so funny how price action does that to us sometimes. Oh, 100%, Ajay. And that's why I got out, right? Because as fun as it is to be in a trade, you don't get paid for being early. And I was early and I wasn't getting paid for it. Then I was just building stress, waiting for it to go. So I didn't get paid for being early, right? So my entry timing here is kind of what screwed me over. Thesis was correct, but spending all that time in a name that isn't moving, way it goes. And again, like no FOMO here, right? Like I got a data point. I felt like I was early on a trade. I objectively was because we spent 10 minutes right before it wanted to give us any separation really, and just shit luck. I mean, I'm not a huge boozer in general, but back in the day, you would have seen me drinking a decent amount of Canadian Club when I was a student. Nice work, Seth. All right, so we could be in business here. 3 min. The 2 min might be a little bit nicer even. Maybe not. So 3 min, I can go still pullback technique here. I got too many lines. Okay, so on the pullback, you'd be looking 337 as a stop loss. It's not bad actually. Reference price here, I would go like somewhere there-ish. And then if it goes aggressive, we're looking at a stop loss 349, reference price 361. We might be able to get tighter if this goes inside bar. Okay, so back to potentially looking for the pullback technique, which would then be 37, right? And reference price would be under 50. So 337. Right, and reference price is just the inside bar low. That's why or where I came up with that number. Okay, watching for a gentle pullback here. Watching for a gentle pullback. Thought I had one for a second there. So reference price is where I'm looking to get an entry, right? When I say reference price, I'm looking for an entry under that under that blue line, right? So I am giving you my exact entry price before it ever happens. Like that's why it drives me nuts when people are waiting for me to say that I'm in a trade. Like I'm telling you what I'm doing before it happens. I'm showing you what I plan on doing before it happens. So the reference price, right, is what my entry target is. No one else does this, guys, right? No one else. All right, so still waiting here. Oh yeah, minus 290 here so far on the session. Not exactly a painful day. I'm trying to find another clean setup here, but it's just taking its sweet effort. Or taking its sweet time. Okay, so we're looking at a 350 stop now. Yeah, it's gotten stuck, right? I think that's probably why we want to see that breakout and go for sure. And we're back to looking at the pullback. I mean, this thing is changing its mind more than I don't know what I was going to say there. Probably nothing good. Okay, back to looking at the aggressive. Oh man, this feels like it's knocking on the door here. Again, I don't know if that's just bias and interpretation of price action, whatever that is. Okay, again, maybe we'll be able to get a really tight entry here. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're looking 358 stop loss. Give it a second. It might want to retest and then go. Okay, so I'm watching it pretty carefully. Hey guys, I am in average price 361.75. 3 contracts, 361.75. Stop loss 358. $361.75, $361.75. Okay, just stopped me out minus 270. Just stopped me out minus 270. Can potentially try this again. Deja vu to that first trade. Whew. Okay. You're looking at a 354 stop loss now. Same idea. 354 stop loss. Can you keep that risk tight, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to be able to play the thesis if it behaves the way that you expect. Okay, so now looking for a pullback here again. Ruthless with the fake out, right? Ruthless with that fake out, but that's the game. So now maybe we could do something like this, right? 366 to 354. Okay, so again, watching here carefully. Okay, and I'm in 365.25, 365.25. Two contracts, stop at 354. That was a ruthless fake out. Time to go. Any day now. Yeah, not really getting paid for being early here. See if they can push. I don't want to see it stall. I fear the stall. Mm-hmm. This feels a little bit like deja vu again. Can it get over 70? Kind of, not really. Come on, push, you bastard. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if this thing keep pushing here. It's even keep pushing. All right, now we want to see it get through 80, right? We want to see it get through 80. Nice work, Seth. Come on, give me one pop through 80 here. Let's go. Who's anyone still in this with me here? Let's go. Good. What do you mean locked, Hunter? What does that mean? Oh, great. Oh, man. So you guys, some of you guys survived the fake out. Oh, locked in with me. Okay, sorry. You guys have to understand, I'm pretty stupid sometimes. So every now and then, I don't know what something means. Yeah. Well, my YouTube algorithm is all like cycling content, running content, or World War II history. So I'm not usually very up to date with the hip jargon. I'm a World War II guy, Nick. Through and through. All right, so let's see how this candle closes. It's not the most enthusiastic here of shapes. So we got to be a little bit sharp here, I would say, at the moment. So let's see how this thing closes. I'm not super enthusiastic on the pullback there. Oh, man, that's kind of a dick move. All right, so we're going to look to try to close as my P&L is increasing. So I'll see if I can get into like the mid 70s or so. And basically it's mid 70s before breaking down now through this blue line, right? A breakdown through that blue line and I'm going to panic close. Otherwise, I'm looking to basically close, you know, in the middle of this range here somewhere. That makes sense? Beautiful. That's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what we needed. I am out, guys. I am out. 381.25. 381.25. Let's go. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Let's go. And again, right? Because this candle is telling me to get out, the second I see that huge pop through what my plan was to exit, I'm not getting greedy here and thinking, ooh, let me stay in. I'm getting out, right? So I will take that, considering that we took a couple small losses here to start the day. That's a great way to get back on track, right? That's a great way to be back to green. Not necessarily the world's biggest move here today, but I think we should be very proud of ourselves of how we have managed our risk. We've kept our losses really small, and that's really important. So stoked. Nice little green day here so far. Nice work, Todd. Crushing it. So I wasn't expecting it to necessarily shoot past 80 here, Sarah. What I was looking for, or Christopher, sorry, I don't know which one it is there, but apologies. But this candle here, right, is telling me that I need to get out of my trade. So my general rule is that post entry, I want to see three things. I want to see a strong candle shape. I want to see a strong volume profile, and I want to see us hold higher highs. This candle didn't give me, or didn't hold above higher highs, and it didn't give me a strong candle shape. So what that then means is that my plan needs to become to close my trade as my PNL is increasing and basically reset, right, to try to jump in this again. And so just getting out at that 380 was like a little bit of luck, just because that move happened to and through that area so quickly that I was able to get a really good price. Like my hope there was to try to get like 377 as my exit price, 375, like kind of in the middle of this candle's range, but it just went so quickly through that I was able to get a better exit. Yeah, sorry about that, Chris. Yes, I do. So like just for reference here, guys, when people send me their trade journals or their stuff, generally my workflow here when I'm doing things is do the stream, right? Do the one-on-one calls that I have that usually come like till about 4 p.m. Eastern, right? At that point, I then break my fast. I eat something, do some exercise, do something for myself, and then generally in the evenings, I will then go through like all the like charts and like trade recaps that people send me. So sometimes people will send those to me when I'm already honestly in bed, because I have to go to bed super early, unfortunately. And so then when that happens, stuff gets pushed to the next like evening when I have then the time to review. So yeah, if you feel like I missed it, just send me a message and like give me a little bump. But generally I tend to not miss it. And it's not that I'm too busy, Doug. It's just that I have a routine of where I do it. And sometimes when things just miss out on that routine, that's when I'm like likely to miss things, right? So like the reality, right, is I get a ton of emails from a bunch of different sources. If I get an email and I read it, and same thing with a Discord message or like a text message, sometimes you answer in your head without answering it in reality. And if I read a message, it goes unread. I can't forget about things sometimes, or like forget to check back. So yeah, like always, guys, right, if I haven't gotten back to you in 24 hours, right, or it should be less, but if I haven't gone back to you in 24 hours, then please give me a little follow-up and I'll make sure to get back to you. And I don't ever intend to miss a message, but it should happen sometimes. Nice work, Patrick. Yeah, it is potentially setting up here. The concerns I have, just time of day concerns, right? I'm not super not super convinced I want to keep pressing, to be honest with you. Like I kind of feel like I took the long way around to make $300. I'm not sure how much more I want to press. The other element is it's kind of late in the day, right? Like it's 11 a.m. Maybe there could be something but it's been kind of a choppy day. Yeah, I am green this morning, correct. I had a loss of 360, a win of 70, a loss of 225, and a win of 640. So not a monster day. Do have a correction, 125-ish on the day. 640 on that trade, like 125 on the day. Love it, Doug. That's fantastic progress. Time did go by pretty quick today, actually. Well, went really slow first 15 minutes. And then, like, the 15 minutes to now felt like it went pretty quick. Hey, well done. Good job for managing your losses today, Brent. Exit price posted in the Discord, right? Always, guys, in the setup alerts channel. So exit price 381.25, right? So that's where you can always find that. If you miss a trade, you want to see if we're in a trade, that's the place to go. The setup alerts channel. But the other element here, guys, right? Is that the value is the value isn't in trying to make today to be a monster day, right? Like the value here today is um walking away green and basically not compounding any mistakes, right? It's not like any of our trades here today were particularly easy, were the smoothest, cleanest, the gentlest like moves. It wasn't like that, right? It was moves took a long time to develop, moves took a long time to break out, and then breakouts or like follow through on those moves was limited. So the risk reward of me trying to turn this into $1,000 or into $500 or into whatever random number, there's no value in that for me. The risk of losing this green day and turning it into a red day, that's going to destroy my confidence. It's going to make me feel like a piece of shit. It's going to be exhausting. It's going to be whatever. So I don't want to do that. I'm not particularly motivated to make myself feel that way. I would rather be proactive, right? Been a really strong green trading week here so far. We've had 3 days where I've placed a trade. We're green on all 3 of those days. So I don't need to feel any pressure to do anything crazy. And like one of my favorite sayings, right? Green days turn into green weeks turn into green months turn into fuck yous to your boss. So like just learning how to compound green days is going to be a lot more valuable than compounding green trades. And you know what? Yeah, I'll eat my ramen today. No big deal. I'm pretty happy with that. Like here's the reality, right? Like again, one of my favorite mental models here. Yeah, for sure, Pat. You should definitely track that. That would be really valuable. That would be fantastic for you to track. But yeah, like we're never one trade away from being rich, right? And we're never, I mean, we should never be one trade away from being poor. But realistically, guys, if we just stick to our system, we stick to our guns, we are 1 month away from changing our lives, right? Not to be like super egotistical about it or anything along those lines, but getting like 15 grand or 20 grand from the market, all of a sudden, that maybe isn't life changing, but it changes your life. Like it proves to you that, hey, I can do this. It proves to you that you can make enough money that you can replace your day job. It reinforces those good habits. Yeah, Seth. So we talked about this a ton. So there's a couple primary reasons. One, I execute with multiple brokers, right? So I execute across interactive brokers, TopStep, My Funded Futures, Take Profit Trader, and Tradeify. So there's a lot of different execution platforms that I need to set up and execute. Two, I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing. I am mapping out my trades for you. I am telling you what my entry price is going to be beforehand, right? Which is why we do things the way that we do. And then the fourth element, right, is that when trading with prop firms, you get this like concurrent data warning. So if I was to log in to my trading view account here on my execution platform, every time I would go on that same trading view on a different screen or a different monitor, it cuts off the data on that previous one. So what ends up happening is data cuts out the screen that you guys are watching, stops streaming data, and then we all lose visibility. So just from like a operational perspective, I'm unable to get it to the point where my execution is smooth while being able to do that. And so that's why I don't. It just complicates my process too much. And losing visibility over prices on my main monitoring screen is too much stress to deal with intra-trade. So the only copier I use, guys, is the internal one inside TopStep X. Otherwise, everywhere else, I just have I literally have just a full monitor of execution windows. And I'm firing away on it. And the reason I don't use a trade copier is I'm too scared of linking up personal accounts to the trade copier, right? So if I was using just prop firms, no problem. But I'm honestly too scared that I'm going to have some copier fuck up and it's going to liquidate my portfolio. My execution windows are trading view, right? Trade evade via trading view. Yeah, right. So that's exactly why we got out Antonin, right? I never used Ninja Bergs. Um, so yeah, that's it, right? We need three elements to stay in a trade. We need a strong candle shape, we need to hold higher highs, and we need increasing volume. These are the higher highs we needed to hold, right? Higher highs of our confirmation. We were not able to do that, right? It closed under. It had increasing volume, but it was a weak candle shape. So I only got 1 out of 3 elements that told me that my trade was strong. And then could go from there. You know, like said, the family fund that I manage for my dad and my sisters, there's a couple million under management there. So I'm just having to explain that to them, or dealing with the lawyers to get your money back, or any of that kind of stuff. Like I've been audited before once. This feels like I'm asking to get audited, and that I honestly can't think of anything worse. So you open up different windows, right? And you get different logins for each trading view. Right. So each trade evade login will work independently. All right. Any questions here, team? Any questions here? I'm not going to stick around for too much longer. Yeah, I would not do it here, AJ. I wouldn't do it. I don't see anything here that looks particularly interesting. Maybe I'm on and you. I mean, again, yeah, no, don't do it. Like, just look at what CL's been doing over the last, say, month. It looks like just complete hot garbage. So like, fuck that. Hey, that's the hard thing about being a trader is we all know what we need to do, except we don't know what we need to do in the moment, right? So it's like, oh man, this was so obvious. Like, why didn't I do this? I should have known this. And you do know it, but sometimes just in the moment, like our brains are like, ooh, do the dangerous thing. When it does that. Oh, today's what, the 24th? Man, where's the summer going? This is so sad. All right. I appreciate you saying that, AJ. That really does mean a lot, man. And yeah, for sure. Like, I think, yeah, like that period, is probably like the most like egocentric trading I had done in a very, very long time. And yeah, it sucked. I think objectively, right? Like it sucked. So always, right? Like my objective always is to get better and it's to improve. But I'm also gonna make a ton of mistakes and I'm gonna eat shit sometimes. And unfortunately, you guys will see that, but we'll also learn from it, hopefully, and we'll always learn to get better. And yeah, sometimes you have to get humbled to figure out what you need to work on. Like the thing that I've really been putting a lot of energy into this week, and I think it's really protected a ton of my mental capital, is exactly those two things, right? Closing as PNL is increasing and basically just like not going down with the ship. Basically like the complete opposite of ego-based trading. And so all of those like progressions and all of those um like focus points, if you want to call it that, right? It's still in a reflection of that like little mental capital reset we did. And it's still okay, here are the lessons I need to learn, here are the things I need to fix, here are the things I need to improve. And it's then okay, now I've got a new why, now I've got a new thing to work on, and I can kind of pursue that as aggressively as I can. Yeah, and you know what it is, Ajay? You know what it is that gives you the confidence, right? It's not that necessarily that the wins are small or that the like the PNL is whatever. It's that you're learning how to survive your mistakes, right? And survive my mistakes. And you're seeing your account basically not evaporate in those moments. In those pyramid trades, the P&L evaporates so freaking fast. And so it makes it really hard to be able to bounce back from some of those mistakes, especially when you don't have that same drawdown. And so that's what I think where you're building that confidence from, right? Is okay, I'm losing money, or you're losing money trading, or you're having a loss. Having a loss independently isn't actually that bad. Like we're going to have hundreds of losses over our careers, thousands of losses. They may as well get them out of the way now. But it's that you lose them, it doesn't create a worst case scenario, and then you're able to get back to new highs above them. That's ultimately what makes you a confident trader. It's making mistakes, learning from them, and then making new all-time highs after. And so for me, I appreciate you saying that, but it really is, I think, just a reflection of yeah, things tightening up and skill and technique improving and kind of surviving that learning curve. I think the way that we were trading 2 months ago, or the way I was trading 2 months ago, and just playing for massive P&L instead of good process, it evaporated that opportunity, I think. Yeah, and believe it or not, big wins come from a consistent, repeatable process, not by swinging for home runs, right? And yeah, I definitely was swinging for home runs there for a couple weeks. Yeah, yeah. I might have to watch. I might have to watch Happy Gilmore tonight. Oh, I thought it comes out tomorrow. Epic if it does. I mean, realistically, it's probably going to be shit, right? Like, there's probably no chance it's very good. If I was a betting man, I know the first one is so good. Like always, when they wait like 20 years in between sequels, like yeah, you know it's going to be shit. Yeah, everyone feeling good after today. Everyone feeling good this week. We're all kind of happy here. All right, team. Well, if no further questions, then I'm gonna kill the stream here for the day. Not every day is gonna be a monster. I think today is an example of that. But hey, look, it's been a really strong week here so far, right? We've had 3 trading days. We've had 3 nice green days. But you know what? Like, I'll take being up 2382, right? That's not too bad. That's not a bad living per account, so should be in a pretty good situation here. Look, it's been a slow week, right? But with this is crazy. Like, this is why prop firms are nuts. But it's been a slow week. But if you have 9 accounts, or you have 10 accounts, or you have even like 7 accounts, I know some people here have 30. Like, this is a slow week that still puts you on a 100K a month pace. So again, right? Like, I think a lot of people have been really saying some fantastic things here inside the chat, right? Slow and steady wins the race, right? Compounding wins means a lot more. That gets exaggerated, or those concepts get exaggerated tremendously once you start using the leverage of prop firms, right? And you create that proof of concept and you build up all those accounts. The reality is, for most people, the value should be getting to that first account, that first payout first, and then scaling it up. And then when you do, slow weeks, small days, small whatever, still turns into some pretty tremendous upside. Love that, Mark. 12K on the week is fantastic, man. Congratulations. All right, team. So have yourselves a great rest of the afternoon. If I missed your message, please give me a little ping here. I will send you guys a response here this afternoon. And yeah, have yourselves a great day, team. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.